Ladies and gentlemen, the Detroit fucking Lions have done it. They have won a playoff game for the first time in over 30
Ah,
years. Two of these
let's
boys were
go.
here. We're at Ford Field. Tell us about it. Donnie and Marshall.
Man, let me tell you, it was one of the most surreal experiences ever. I'm sending Colin some videos and pictures of me and Donnie there. It was unbelievable. I've never experienced anything like it. I'll let Donnie get into his perspective. I want to talk about my perspective and his because his is a bit different being the Stafford fan that he is. And that's not even like hating on him. It is what it is. You do you, man. You got a different perspective
We
than
can
me. But
stop picking on him for that. The game's over. We beat him. It doesn't matter anymore.
for me, it was all day. It's like if we lose, like I know we had a good season, but man, if we lose, this has changed everything. It's like I know we can just hold our heads high. We went 12-5, won the division. That's a step in the right direction because rebuilds really aren't supposed to happen this quickly. It's usually three. This year is supposed to be the year that you're like, you know what? Next year has to be the year, or else it's over. And we made next year this year. So, but even then, it's just like we need to do this. We cannot go out there and lose this game. And getting there, I'm nervous. I'm nervous all day. And then we get there, and being freezing outside definitely, honestly, took away a lot of the mindset because I'm every time I'm like, the Lions can win, the Lions can win. I'm just like, fuck, it's cold, and it's just like I'm losing my shit. But being getting there downtown Detroit, there's so many people. It was unbelievable. We get in the stadium, we get up there, and I've been a Lions fan my whole life, and I've been going to Lions fans for a long time. I'm very blessed with my grandparents, and a lot of people on the podcast know that they have season tickets, so I am blessed to go to all these games. But a lot of years of hurt, so it was finally a year, which last year I wouldn't say was hurt. I would say last year, we still didn't make it, but last year was not that much hurt. But to do what we did, I wouldn't say I didn't cry, but uh, I did choke up and I did tear. Like I had to wipe my eyes. Just from I don't even think it was. I just excitement. I so much emotion. Even talking about it right now makes me choke up. But it was the most unreal thing. Like I'm actually like almost getting choked up. But being there, seeing all the fans, loudest I've ever heard. It was unbelievably loud, and I just think everyone. It was like I was on my feet almost the entire time. Um, Looking at it from like the actual standpoint, and I'll wrap my case up. I can't talk. I could talk all day, but I'm not going to. Talking about like the actual playing aspect, the Lions looked great. Like our defense, even though our defense. In reality, people say we played bad. We still only let up 23 points, which is a lot. But realistically, you look at these teams like the Cowboys, you look at what the Eagles just let up. Like 23 points to a Matt Stafford, who I'll give him credit. He is a great quarterback still. And Puka, oh my gosh, is unbelievable. So 23 points, honestly, I think it's not as bad as what it could have been. But that offense came out firing, and it was amazing. And I would like to publicly kind of apologize. I was all for that. Fuck Stafford. No Stafford jerseys. I still don't agree with the Stafford jerseys. I don't think that you should wear them. But I was not for the booing when I got there. I didn't boo. I never booed for Stafford. Now I'm not cheering. I was not cheering. He doesn't need a tribute video. He doesn't need anything. I was. I
That can
I
be a
think
next year regular
yeah,
season
he
thing.
should have walked out. Nobody said anything. He should have walked in. Nobody said anything. Now we boo every rant. We boo every opposing team when they walk out together. That's different. So I wasn't for the booing. I didn't like the booing. I didn't like seeing that, especially with even though Kelly Stafford doesn't have a huge rep. I don't like seeing that we booed his family members and the kids. Like that's just it's not. And I don't know if you guys saw, but his kids were wearing jackets that said Detroit born, LA raised. It is really kind of like damn, like that sucks. But it is what it is. Game over now. It was unbelievable, and I'll never forget it. You guys will get to see some videos that I took, and I'm this is engraved in my memory forever. I even stole a piece of confetti off the ground and I ripped it up, and it's gonna sit on my wall. It's just a little piece of confetti that rained from the sky. but I'll let Donnie give his little 5-ish minute piece on what he had about the game.
The best part is
Uh,
for Marshall, you get to do it again next week.
Yeah.
So, and even bigger stakes are on the table this time.
yeah. Um, yeah, I'll say that my perspective, I guess, was a little bit more unique. You guys know how much I like Matthew Stafford. So I'm not, plus I was driving and stuff. So I wasn't really thinking about the game as much as these guys were. They got to be on their phones. I'm driving there. And then, like, once I get done driving, I'm in the cold. Like Marshall said, you're not really thinking about anything other than being freezing cold. So I guess I didn't really feel like it was a playoff game as much. Like, I'll say that I was nervous the entire time the game was happening. Like, I didn't leave my seat. I just kind of sat there. I feel like I was relatively quiet compared to most games, just because like I knew that it was gonna come down to like Matthew Stafford having that moment, plus like everything surrounding it. And I think the fact that the Lions survived, like Matthew Stafford played great. I think he played a fucking amazing for like what everything considered. And for us to like win that way, I think is kind of the bigger point because he went for 350, 2 touchdowns, no big mess ups. So like that was kind of the thing for me is like watching at the end. I'm like, okay, like this we could have our heart ripped out and this all be for nothing. Like Marshall said, if you lose that first game, it's like okay, you have a home playoff game, but who really gives a shit? You don't really think about home playoff games unless you win them. So yeah, it wasn't. It was just like it was. It's an experience like you can't compare it to anything. You know what I mean? Like you watch teams win playoff games, and you're like, man, I bet that feels great. But like once it happens, like I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to think. I didn't know what to do. Like you don't like Colin did. You don't know what to do with your hands. You have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea like how to respond even mentally because Marshall
And
didn't
that was
touch on
after
it,
the first
but
touchdown. I was like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? We're
literally,
winning a
uh,
playoff game right now. What do I do?
Marshall touched on or didn't touch on it when I figured he did. But I know you guys watching at home when Amon-Ra picks up that first down right after the 2 minute warning and the Rams have no more timeouts. I feel like I saw a clip and like the crowd isn't that loud because I don't think anybody in the crowd realized the game was over after that because they come out and they take that knee. And I know me and Marshall and our group, we literally look at each other and we're like, that was the fucking game. Like the game's over.
Mhm.
Literally, they have to knee it 4 more times or 3 more times, but this game is fucking over. And we all just kind of like collectively looked at each other, like everybody in the stadium. I feel like, and we're
Yeah.
all like,
It didn't hit
The
"Holy
me.
fuck!"
fans.
I thought because I suck at math and uh
Same.
I was like, why did we just take the knee? We're gonna have to punt it with like
Yeah.
30 seconds left. We're gonna pull a fucking
Okay.
trouble
When
with the
victory
snap.
formation came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, we won!" It wasn't like taking a knee. Are we winning the game? Like I knew once victory formation came out, but
The hell
everyone
kind of
we
run
were like,
formation is
we
this?
were like first down. We were like, okay, that's good. And then all of a sudden, we saw victory formation, and my stomach
It clicked.
just turned. And oh my gosh, I looked at Donnie,
Yeah.
I looked at everybody, and we just all lost our
It
minds.
was
It
that
was
moment of just like, oh
I couldn't
my
believe it.
God,
They
they just
won.
did it.
We did it.
Like
Yeah,
Ima-
to
I couldn't believe it.
to finish. It was funny on the kneeing thing because a guy it was Marshall on one side, the other side was just some random guy. And once we get the ball after that punt, I was like, okay, we need 3 first downs, maybe 4. So you doing the math wrong, I did the math way wrong. He was
Well, no,
like,
that's what
I
I was
don't
at
know.
too. I was
He
like,
he was
we
like,
need to get a couple first downs. This game's over. And I was like, just get past the 2 minute warning, let them burn that timeout, and then
We
pick up
always
one more first down.
forget
You're good.
in our games.
because
We always forget how easily it is to just run the clock. Like
Yeah.
it really like
40,
three down.
40,
You're
40
losing.
second play clock. Yeah.
Yeah, 43 downs, you're already losing like 2 minutes in three.
about two
Like, so we
minutes.
don't realize. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
so it's like we don't realize how especially in those moments. You're not thinking, you're just thinking like, oh my gosh, we're gonna go 3-and-out, punt the ball, and lose the game. That's like we Lions fans just think
I
the
was
opposite with
expecting that to happen.
everything
Yeah. I was
worst.
like, they're gonna do
It
something
was
dumb here and give the ball back
But
to Matthew Stafford with no timeouts.
um I to
Only needing a
finish up
field goal.
to finish up, yeah, it was like I said, it didn't really feel like a playoff game. Now it's crazy because now that I'm home and I'm like thinking and watching the Bucks game and like knowing the Bucks have to come to us, like I'm much more excited for this game than I was last game because I feel like I was paying more attention to the Stafford thing, which like of course I out of all of us did, but it's like okay, we survived that. That is like if you're gonna lose a playoff game, it's gonna be to your old franchise quarterback in your first home game in 30 fucking years. You know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
the playoff game to lose because you have all the reason in the world to
Now, if
lose.
you lose a playoff game, it's going to be at home to Baker Mayfield.
Well,
And I've already said we explained, we talked about it in the car. Whatever because any given Sunday, I don't care. We beat them before this
Yeah.
and that. Like it is any given Sunday. They're on a roll. Like I can't. They did that to the Eagles. Like I know they're bad. The Eagles have
Well,
been
so
bad,
did the
but
Giants, but
it's just it's
And the Cardinals.
it's still a
any
win.
3 straight weeks.
any given Sunday, any team can win. So it's not. I'm not sitting here. We got it. NFC Championship. It's like I'm still just as worried for next game as I was to the Rams game.
I
But
don't know about just as worried. I am still
I
worried
am.
because, like, obviously we can drop this game, like
I
you
am
said,
just as
but
worried.
I'm not
The
just as
Lions are
worried.
notoriously
I think
the,
if either of these two quarterbacks had a good chance to beat us, it was Matthew Stafford. I do not
the
think Baker
Lions are
Mayfield has.
Matthew
notorious for
Stafford.
winning
People are
against
talking
teams.
about
We are notorious for winning against teams we're not supposed to win and lose. We lost to the
that's the
Packers
old
and the
Lions.
Bears.
That's the
We
old
lost.
Lions.
We lost to the Bears this year. We
And
did
we
lose
lost
to
to the
the Bears.
Packers, but guess what?
Yeah.
Those are divisional games, so that's
Okay,
different.
I understand that. I am just saying, people. I'm telling you guys, we're getting to you. I think the Lions will win, but I am not sitting here thinking, yeah, Lions are gonna win. It's over. It's like we might as well just go home. Like it's not. I'm saying the Buccaneers can easily win this game. There's no way that I'm not counting the Bucks out. They can go into Detroit and win this football game without a doubt. So I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, Lions got this shit wrapped up." No, the Bucks could easily win. Easily win. Our defense has been lacking, and all they need to do, our defense has been lacking. They're going to score. If Jared Goff has a couple mistakes, that could cost us the game. It's not that hard. So anyways, what I was saying is I have already explained if we were to go into Detroit next week and we were to lose to the Bucks, it would suck. But I would not be as upset as I would if we lost to the Rams. If we lost to the Rams, I would have been depressed.
Well, that's the thing I've
Now,
been
if we
saying
lose,
all year is that, like, really all we
just
needed
one.
to do this year for it to be a successful trip, in the eyes of most Lions fans, is just get over that hump, win the playoff game. Whatever happens after that, like, great.
Yep.
Like, this is only year 3 of this rebuild, and we won a playoff game, won the division, and we're heading to the divisional round. Like, that's kind of insane. I don't think we're talking about that enough. It is year 3 of Dan Campbell, and we are in this position.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think people are talking enough about we were 1-6 halfway through last year.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like oh
Whatever
my god,
they did to flip that switch last year is insane.
It's not even like I don't know. It's not like oh my god, well they just started this and they're going crazy. Like it's been like 23 games. Like they've had 23 good games from the turnaround halfway of last year. It's like this is fucking insane. Like the fact that that team is still this team. Like we didn't change that much.
So
They just started playing good. Like that's
whatever
the only
happens,
like you know what I mean?
whatever happens next week, it'll suck if we lose. But I've already decided if we go out and we do drop to one to the Bucks, just because it's any given Sunday, I am not going to be. I'll be upset, but I won't be that disappointed because the fact that we went 12-5, won a division, and won a home playoff game in a year 3 rebuild. I'm satisfied with how this year's went. I want more. I want as far as we can go, and that's what I'm expecting. But
this is already the most successful rebuild attempt in 30 years. So
I'm not going to go out and be like, I'm not going
Facts.
to. If we lose to the Bucks, I'm not going to go out and be like, wow, this Lions team needs to change. How can we do that? How can we do that? Like,
it's just the conversation then becomes, okay, well, we got to this point this year. What can we do to make sure that we get even farther next year?
And we already know what that conversation. It's a lot of it's just defense. We really just need to fix some things.
Well, I mean, losing because I am already mentally prepared for us losing Ben Johnson this offseason. He's gonna get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
So we will have some change on the offensive side.
Before we just move on, I agree with Ben Johnson. I was talking to a fucking buddy, and we were talking about Ben Johnson. I was like, yeah, I don't know how like Goff's gonna be, and I don't know how the team's gonna do once Ben leaves, but like I'm just riding this high right now. And he's like, well, when Ben gets hired, you're gonna get like a comp pick. I'm like, yeah, getting a 4th-round pick at an end of the 4th-round pick is worth losing the best OC in the league. I was like, who gives a fuck? Like, what are we talking about? I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
come
wild.
on, man.
Moving on, but still on the subject of the Lions, I want to know your guys' thoughts on Matthew Stafford's post-game comment about I'm happy for the players. I
He
just want to know,
sounds
Um,
like,
he
it
sounds
can
like
be a
a
quick
salty
thing.
ex-boyfriend.
I
I feel
think
like
I think it has to do with booing of his wife and children.
I
Like it
think so
wasn't
too.
he wasn't even there. I think that was a bit rough, and I think he just because after the game he literally walked up to Frank. He said, "I love you, man. I'm happy for you. You know, you guys are a great team. Go do your thing." He said the same thing to Jared. He said the same thing to Taylor Decker. He said it a lot to people. He went up and hugged Calvin Johnson. He said hi to Golden Tate. He said a lot to a lot of people there. He even said hi to Dan Campbell. He was all for the Lions being a good team. He was all for it, and I honestly got to tip my hat to Stafford for that. He was happy to see the Lions succeed. I just don't think he was happy with the city of Detroit, and I don't think I honestly don't think he cared that much about the boos. Who cares? He knows what it is. It's football. Is that how it works? I
Right.
think it was
Well, he
just
even clarified that in his comment. He was like, because he said like a couple questions later, he was like, I understand it's football. Like, I don't really care what anybody in the stands thinks about me. Like, I understand it's football. They wanted to
yeah.
win and they
I think it
did.
was the
So
booing
good
of
for
his
them.
children and wife, and it just kind of just too much. I think he just. I don't think we. It would just was. It was a little too much. So I think. I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right. It just was. It's a weird scenario.
Yeah.
I would say I feel like I'm the only one with like a flip perspective on it, obviously, but I would say it's the opposite. I think the only thing out of everything that would bother him was getting like actively booed him and his family. Like I don't
Oh
think he gets the
no.
fuck. I don't even know if he saw the jersey band. Like I was like that's kind of
I'm sure he
bullshit,
did
but
because
like I
Kelly
don't think
saw
I
it.
know
So,
Kelly saw it, so yeah.
Yeah,
Kelly
they're
saw it.
literally married,
And,
Donnie.
yeah, that's not what I meant. Like I don't think he gave a fuck. It was my end point on that.
oh,
But like when he came out, like when I said like I saw him and everybody noticed him, he didn't get booed, he didn't get cheered. Like it was kind of like a what the fuck, and he like just walked in the tunnel. I was like, okay, well like maybe he won't get actively fucking shit on this game. And then once he came out, because I don't even think it was when he came out with the team, because like obviously you're gonna boo the entire team. Like I think he's smart enough to realize that. It was when just the quarterbacks came out, he got very active. Like it was as loud a boo as when the Rams came out.
See,
And
I
I, th-
understand your
I
point.
think that's what would because I know like I'm trying to think as if I was him. I think that's what would bother
I
me.
see your
See,
It's
I
point, but
like
with
understand.
his
okay,
post-game
you're just
comment
booing.
that he clarified it a
Yeah,
little
I
bit,
understand
I
your
think it
point. Like
was more of just like he
I
didn't
understand your point. Like, yeah,
care.
he got booed in his old stadium, but like Colin stated, his point, it's football. And there is no way a guy, a 15-year vet who has dealt with
There's
so much adversity in his career, won a Super Bowl, is at this point, he has set his life. He's done everything he can. I don't think that man is really getting upset because he got booed. I
Well,
don't
that's
think
the
that
other thing
and
anything
how do
to
you
is,
I
not
don't
expect it? Is my
yeah,
thing.
and
and he knew that shit was gonna happen. Like he
I think
saw like Kelly knew everything. I think because there was actually like, and he said, "It's football. I know that is." He genuinely because it was like a thing where it's like I watched Kelly and everyone walk in, and she got booed loud, and Stafford saw it, and it was like that. I think that you saw. I seriously, I could walk out on that field and get booed, and I'm not even a player, and I don't have that player's mentality, but like he's got that player's mentality. Like, all right, come on, let's do it. Let's go. I'm here. I'm ready to go. But if I see my children walking out and they're getting booed, it's like, you're really gonna boo my children? Like, how can you do something
yeah.
like that?
I
Like,
also think
what heart do people have to boo children? Like, that's fucked.
I also
That's
think
my thought process is like him getting booed and his family getting booed. I think of that as like one and the same. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like separating it. Like
No, not even close. I can
I,
I
I
totally
think
agree.
I think him getting booed and shit on like him personally when he came out, I think that goes along with him and his family, and he's just kind of like, okay,
No
like
one cares. No athlete actually gets cared when they get booed.
I
They don't
I
care.
think you care when you were on a team for a decade and a half
They're
and like,
so
you
no,
Well,
did a
they
lot
not.
for the
Donnie,
city.
what
okay,
did
I'm
you
gonna
think Matthew
directly
Stafford would
respond to that.
expect though? What would you
Yeah.
I think
Like,
what Stafford expected is exactly what I expected. I expected no video tribute. I wasn't expecting a fucking round of applause like, oh my God, he's come home. I was expecting like neutral fucking feelings. Like, okay, Matthew Stafford's there. Maybe like down by the tunnel, he's getting like, we miss you, Matt. Like some bullshit, some random fans. You know what I mean?
No,
But like I said, random fans. I didn't say fucking everybody. Calm the fuck down.
I know, but you're getting. I think you're.
And then I didn't expect when him and Carson Wentz come out to warm up, the entire stadium to boo. I guess I'll start there. I didn't expect his family to get booed. Maybe Kelly, because she deserves it, but not the kids. But
I think I understand what you're
thing,
saying. Yes, a player for this long, he comes back, blah blah blah.
I was saying,
Stafford's got that player's mentality. Ain't no
it's
way.
a playoff game. This ain't no preseason game.
He won a freaking Super Bowl. There's no way he cares about some booze.
So I get not feeling bad for him. I'm just saying, like, what you said at the stadium, you're like,
well,
okay.
It's like I would understand maybe a little bit, but he already came out and said in that interview. He's like, yeah, what do you think about the booze? Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, the boo. It's football. You know, it is what it is. It's it is what it is.
My rebuttal to that would be like, what was he supposed to say? Yeah, it emotionally crushed me.
For like 3 minutes, bro.
You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm just saying, like, what else is he supposed to say? Of course, he's gonna be like, I don't care.
Here's my thing: is I also think, like, it's a little bit of like a, what the fuck ever. It was a playoff game. I understand the booze. Enemy territory. Blah blah blah. But I also think that sometimes fans get this idea in their head that the athletes care about the city a little bit more than they actually do, especially now that he is a couple years removed and has won a Super Bowl with his other team. I don't think Detroit is as special to him anymore as it was probably, right before that Super Bowl run. Probably, as he was going through that season, it was probably, a little weird for him. But like, I don't think it's.
He got the tan. He got the new teeth. He got the Super Bowl. He don't care about Detroit.
God, those fucking veneers, bro. They're fucking awful.
I would agree with you, Colin. If it's a normal situation is how I put it. Like if you get drafted to a team, you're there for 4 or 5 years, you leave. Yeah, who gives a fuck? It's not so much where it was like whether you guys can shit on him for leaving or not. He had a lot of opportunities to leave before he left. Like he had a good.
I'm not saying that it like 100% is that. It's just like it's something that I don't think people have thought about. Is that like maybe
I
doesn't care about Detroit as much anymore?
I would say a good 80% of athletes do not care. Like I think you're right. Like if you're not from there, he's originally from Texas. It's not like he was born and raised in Michigan. So I agree with you on that.
It's not like if Hutch were to have like the same like 10-year career and then get traded.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. My thing is more like he did like do a lot for the community. He still funds a children's center, like an activity center in the middle of Detroit. He does that. He still owns a house. Like he still has all these things set up in Detroit.
I thought he sold it.
I'm pretty sure.
He did sell it.
I'm pretty confident.
So I'm sorry, guys. Donnie would know. He's been camping out there waiting for him to come back.
I mean, I would be the one out of all of us to have an idea, but
he did sell
anyway.
It got sold. It got sold to another celebrity because it was on the same. I watched it on a video with the same thing that about Tom Brady's house.
Well, he sold before he ever moved teams and got traded. He sold his one house because it had half the old Pistons court in it.
What's broken news? From the summer, why would he keep the house in Detroit? What's more broken news?
Anyway, all that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like most athletes don't care about their city. I agree with that. I do feel like Stafford care about Detroit, not just because I'm a Lions fan.
Well, it's not that We're not saying he didn't.
We're not saying he doesn't. We're just saying the Boos aren't going to get.
Is it possible that he could have moved on a little bit, and that's why like he didn't like? I'm not going to say didn't care because I'm sure like a part of him did feel like, oh, my old team finally got their playoff win. I think a little bit of him did care about that. But I don't think he cared as much about like the fans and returning to see the fans as the narrative thought,
You're telling me a guy that played through a dislocated, a broken shoulder, a broken collarbone, whatever it was, like a guy that has always been so heavy-hearted, and a guy that isn't active on social media. He isn't loud in the media. Guy who just doesn't genuinely give a fuck. You think he really is getting emotional over some random people who are scum sitting in a crowd while he is a millionaire? You really think he is like, dang, these people are really booing me. Like it's not like I went and won a Super Bowl or anything. It's not like I did all this and they're still here. It's like I think bro just genuinely I think he just doesn't care. He also probably just said, I'm happy for the players because why? He doesn't need to be happy for the city. Like the city, he's not part of the city right now. He doesn't need to be happy for the city. He's happy for the players.
He's
like
got
he's
old
happy for
teammates that he's much more connected with than he was anybody in that crowd.
I honestly think
understand
this is another reason. I don't think he honestly, we both might be wrong. He might be saying, I'm happy for the players, not because he's mad at the city for booing, but literally just because he's not happy for the city because he's not playing for the city. He doesn't need to be happy for the city. He is probably just happy for the players because he worked with a lot of these guys. It's another team. You hear guys all the time, I'm happy for him on Twitter. Oh, congrats to this team. Congrats to this team. There were a lot of players around different teams saying, go Detroit. Like, they're just happy for the team. Like, so I don't think bro needs to be happy for the city if he's sad or he was mad at them. I think he genuinely was just happy for the players, and he's not like Jared Goff isn't going to go to LA. Yeah, I'm happy for the city. No, he's not. Like, why would he say that? Even if he didn't get booed, he's not going to say I'm happy for the city. He would never say that.
Okay, I mean, he was also in LA for 4 years versus that was 12. But anyway, I don't want to sit here
Last thing, and then we got to move
Super
on.
Bowl.
Last thing, and then we got to move on.
I want to sit here and argue about this. I think that him after winning the Super Bowl and him getting asked, and he's like, yeah, I love the fans in Detroit. Like, I thank them for their support. Then him coming to Detroit and him, like, purposely leaving out, like, I'm happy for the fans. He didn't have to say, I love the fans so much. I love this place. I can't believe I love. Like, he doesn't have to do all that. But for him to be like, I'm happy for the players and literally immediately look for the next question, I think that's a little bit of, like, that's coming from, like, a hurt. That's not coming from a I don't give a fuck. That's coming from
it's
like
crazy because you make
that.
you saying this.
But I don't think it's hurt from the booze. I think it's hurt fresh off of a playoff loss.
I was just about to say that. I think it was more the fact that he lost a playoff
80-20.
game.
I think it's 80% the playoff loss.
Oh
and
no,
then,
I got
maybe
booed,
20% the booze.
Oh no, I got booed, or damn, I lost in the playoffs and my season's over. I think he's more sad about his season being over than he got a couple boos from a crowd.
Especially because he probably doesn't have that many seasons left.
No, like he's probably upset the season's over. Like I don't think he gives a fuck about the crowd. And honestly, you talking about all the people boos. Honestly, I'm starting to regret me saying I didn't boo. I kind of want to go back and boo now because I don't know what you're making me want to boo.
Machine and go boo.
I don't care. Either way, I don't know if you guys saw. We'll end on this. Kelly, for all of her bullshit, she did post something either last night or today where she said like she's thankful for Detroit and she was like, and go get a ring or something like that. So she at least ended it with she was the first one to complain and the first one to like kind of retaliate. But like at least she's like, you know what? Go have one, Detroit. So
I do got one last thing to say about Detroit, and then we can move on to this week's picks. We talked about the fucking moon and made a joke about the moon back on Thanksgiving. You know, the Lions.
Another moon stat? Are you hitting us with a moon stat?
I'm hitting you with a moon stat.
I'm turning on my volume. What is the moon stat?
Shout out to Mike Payton from A to Z Sports on Twitter.
Look at you.
He pointed out last night. He goes, for the weird moon people, the moon was a waxing crescent the last time the Lions won a playoff game. The moon, sorry, this was a couple days ago, not yesterday. I just saw it last night. The moon on Sunday will be a waxing crescent.
And you live by the moon, you die by the moon.
Live by the moon, you die by the moon.
Die by the moon.
Marshall, since you just joined,
Marshall just missed the moon.
This is the last thing I'll say about the Lions, and then we'll move on to the divisional round picks. I got another moon stat for you. You know how we talked about the moon on Thanksgiving. This time we got a good
audio.
We got a good shit. Yeah, you're fucking muted, bud. I cannot hear you.
Why does he keep talking?
Say something.
You're muted. Bro just kept me out.
I can hear you, but you're super muffled now.
Sound like you're in a fish tank.
Should be. It should be good.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Okay.
So, this guy,
Waxing
Mike
gibbon.
Payton from A to Z Sports, tweeted, "For the weird moon people, the moon was a waxing crescent. The last time the Lions won a playoff game, the moon on Sunday will be a waxing crescent, and we won."
Live
The
by the
moon-
moon.
Colin,
you live
Colin,
by
that's
the
strike
moon,
one.
You die
Colin,
by
that's
the
strike
moon.
one.
I'm not
That's a
into
good
astrology,
stat.
but
Hey,
maybe these bitches are onto something. Maybe
Colin's
they're
stat
onto
of the
something.
day. Colin's stat of the day. There we go.
Colin's stat of the day. There we go. I'm gonna start
Yeah,
tracking the
I
moon
like
phases.
stat of the day, not moon phase of the day. This isn't science class.
Hey, dude, that's a stat. 1991 playoff game. That's a stat.
All right, that was the last thing I wanted to say about that game.
I like how we're ending off the biggest game of the Lions' life with talking about the fucking moon.
Do we want to
God.
talk about anything else from this last week? Chiefs.
I mean,
The
shout out to the
Browns
Packers
getting their
I got a
break
few.
off.
I got a few notes, but
we can touch on them.
real quick.
I was-
We can wrap it up.
shout out to the Chiefs and Dolphins for having the fourth coldest game in NFL history at -4 degrees at kickoff.
Dolphins were
crazy.
ready to go home at the end
Sneak
of the first
preview to
quarter.
trivia.
They were
What
so
are
ready
the
to go.
what are the other three?
No, not a chance. I low key look at them like there's no
That
chance
would be
anyone is
cool.
gonna guess these.
One of them's got to be Minnesota or Green Bay.
No,
Uh,
I know number one would be the Ice Bowl, the Cowboys and the Packers from like 1960.
Yeah, I
believe
think the Ice Bowl
cold.
is number one.
That was like -40. That was fucking crazy.
Anyway, yeah, that was wild. Fucking Patrick Mahomes' helmet shattering because it was so
And
cold
oh my
and the
God.
plastic
Then
got
they
so
let
brittle.
him play.
Play.
For, like,
They had
3
two plays, two or
Yeah.
three plays
How did
with
the
a
refs
broken
not
helmet.
immediately be like, "Hey, you need to swap that out right now"?
And the Chiefs didn't have to use an equipment timeout. They just let
That was
him switch the helmet.
That would have
Like-
been a bigger story, I feel like, if the Chiefs would have scored a touchdown there and the game was close.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
if it was
That-
closer,
that
definitely.
could have been a thing. The only thing I didn't think about with that until I heard it today is that's like obviously a safety issue for Patrick, right? That's a safety issue for the defense. You imagine getting your hand
Like shrapnel, like in your
back?
eye.
Yeah, because that's like a hard plastic. Like that
Yeah.
is like, especially in the
Well,
cold.
and
Like,
it
fucking
shattered. Those are
Yeah.
shards that were flying around.
So yeah, like it's dangerous for Patrick, obviously, but you imagine being a defender and getting your fingers caught in that. Like you could lose fingers easily. It's just fucking. At least they'd be on ice already. So I guess there's that.
Well, also, I mean, your hand shouldn't be on the helmet anyway. That's a face mask penalty in 15
Yeah, but
yards. So, yeah,
yeah.
learning moment.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. That would be a coaching point. Yeah, don't do that.
Your hand shouldn't have been in there, bitch. Suck it up, pussy.
Yeah, the Chiefs look fucking good. I'll say that. I mean, I think it was a mix of the Chiefs being at home, used to the cold, and the Dolphins ready to go home immediately as the game started. They
I don't
were
think
so ready
anyone
to
is
leave.
used to the cold that they experienced.
Yeah, but
this
at least the
past-
Chiefs like lived there, and they were like used to it for
True.
the week. You know what I mean? They weren't used to playing in it, but they were used to being there and being.
Yeah, it was definitely less of an adjustment for the Chiefs than it was for the Dolphins. I'll give
You
you
could
that.
have put two Lions jerseys up. You put Chiefs and the Lions jersey up.
I was waiting for one of you to comment on this. Little Super Bowl preview. Just hang those up back there.
Super Bowl preview.
What are we
Yeah,
doing?
Interesting.
Speaking of Mahomes, Mahomes, apparently, I don't know if I was reading this right, but I just saw it on the TV. Mahomes has never played a postseason road game.
Yep, this is his first postseason road game in his career.
Which means the Bills will win.
I mean, maybe. We'll see.
The
Anything
Texans
else,
beating
Dallas?
the brakes off the Browns is the most amazing.
I'd say
thing.
that one.
I'd say
That
the
one.
fact that
I don't.
I was just gonna say the fact that CJ Stroud and Jordan Love had the exact same stat line blows my mind. Say like they were both 16 for 21, 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, the same QB rating. Literally the exact same
wild.
stat line.
That's wild. I did not know that. Yeah, I was gonna say that's the game. I don't know about you guys. That's a game I didn't really care to see that much, and it was crazy that I did not expect that. I didn't expect them to fucking break their fucking asses. Like, god damn, that was awful.
Yeah.
The only other thing I think we could talk about, or I guess there is 2 things. The Cowboys. What the fuck happened? That was the worst performance of the weekend in a weekend where there was a lot of blowouts. That was abysmal.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, especially with how good the team is as a whole. The defense looked terrible. Dak and CD were not on the same page at all the first half. CD had
Dak
like
couldn't
3
complete a
drops.
pass to save his life.
Dak
in
threw
that first
one
half.
interception that was kind of like, whatever. It's a good play. Then his second interception was like
The second one
worst
was
pass
bad.
you'll ever see. That's the
Second one was
worst pass
bad.
you'll ever see by a pro quarterback. That was
Yeah.
awful.
I don't know. I've
Um,
seen Stafford for a couple of years throw some
Oh my God.
interceptions.
But yeah, with the
I
Cowboys,
was
like
that was the one thing I kind of wished we had gotten in that game was a Matthew Stafford pick.
Oh man, the roof would have exploded off of that.
Oh yeah, that
building.
place would have gone nuts.
any big play, the roof would have exploded. The Lions
There were
didn't really
no
have any
turnovers.
big play, but yeah, that place would have blown up. The only thing with the Cowboys is I don't know how you guys feel. Do you fire Mike McCarthy after what just happened?
I
Yeah.
feel like you
From
can't.
12-5 for 3 straight years.
3 straight years. I feel like you can't, but you gotta look at something. Like something's gotta change this offseason. Like
I
it
think you
might
give
be
him one more year.
one more year for sure.
You guys got to think about Jerry though. Jerry's up there. Jerry's like,
Oh
not,
yeah, he's psycho.
and you know how bad he wants to win. He's always wanted to win, but like, think about like coming to the end of your life and like you haven't won a Super Bowl in 30 years. Like you know he's fucking he will give anything for Super Bowl. I personally, if I like, it's hard because like as a Lions fan, you're like, oh my god, if we could go 12-5 for 3 straight years, like put this motherfucker in the Hall of Fame.
Build
like,
him a
we would
statue.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally. Like Dan Gamble fucking won 12 games one year. We're like, yep, Hall of Fame, let's go. Fucking yep. And the Cowboys have won playoff games. So like that's not the problem. Like it's just that like they keep choking like this. And if I'm Jerry and like I'm the Cowboys, how they are, I would fire Mike. I would fire Mike. And it doesn't help.
Who do you get
like,
though? Who do
if
you
it's a
get?
normal, this is the thing though, on that. If it's a normal year, I would be like, okay, it's a true like 50-50. Do you fire Mike? Do you not fire Mike? This year, I think it's
Hey, yo.
100. I think it's 100% just because look at how many good coaches there are. There's Vrabel, there's Belichick, there's Carroll, who's a maybe. He might stay with the Seahawks. He might want to coach. There's Ben Johnson. There's so many good prospects.
Jim Harbaugh.
The best rosters in the league.
Jim Harbaugh.
You could get any one
Jim
of them.
Harbaugh.
I
You
did.
are a Dallas
I did.
Cowboy.
I did see Harbaugh interviewed with
Nobody
the Chargers this week.
Yeah, which
I
was
didn't know
that-
expected. The
I
fact
didn't
that
know
it
the
took this
Cowboys
long.
wanted
as
to
well.
lead the division for the next 3 years.
I don't know if you guys saw. I guess Schefter is like said that the Chargers are like all in on Jim Harbaugh.
They,
Oh,
yeah,
they
they
should
really
be.
want him.
Like he's their guy. They want him more than any of the other coaches. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Cowboys. You got to move on.
Did
I
y'all?
think Bill's going to Jerry World. I guess it's irrelevant. Means people don't know who we picked. But I guess this is the best week to miss a pick because we all tied. We all went 3
Hell
and 3.
yeah.
We all. Colin,
It was
I
a
will
rough
say,
week.
Colin, I'd say I feel like you had like the worst ones though. Not
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I
Like,
picked
when I went
Browns.
through
They
this,
got
I
their
just
ass
felt like
beat. I picked
Um,
Dolphins. Also got their
against
ass beat. Picked Cowboys. Also got their ass beat.
well,
Picked Lions. Picked
we
the
all-
Lions. Picked the Bills. And I picked the Buccaneers.
we
So I
all
started
picked the Lions. We
0-3.
all picked the Bills.
Yep.
So
I started 0-3, finished 3-3. Let's go.
I will say the only
About
thing
how
that's
you
different
finish.
is we all went 3-3. Marshall was the only person to pick Texans. You were the only person to pick Bucks, Colin. And then me and Dallas just were on like the Chiefs. We were on
Bills.
yeah. Well, we
And the
all
Lions.
picked the Bills,
Yep.
but like me and Dallas just picked like more.
I was so close.
we didn't lone wolf anything like you and Colin did,
Yeah.
or you and Marshall did.
All right.
So 3-3. Yep.
Divisional round. Starting off with Texans at Ravens. This is where it ends. Real unfortunate. Give me the Ravens.
Damn, that was so short.
Yeah, bro. If the
I
Ravens
don't know what else to
don't win,
say, bro.
if the Ravens
It's
don't
just the
win
way
this
you
game,
said it. You're like, by the way, guys, I know you made the division round, but you guys suck. You're leaving.
bro,
That was
if CJ finds a way to fucking win this game, there's no doubt this man has had a top
MVP.
5
MVP. MVP.
If he
Even
wins,
I'll
I know it's
concede-
based off regular season, but you
Yeah.
gotta give it to him.
Even I'll concede that this motherfucker's probably top 10 after if he walks into the fucking Baltimore and
Has
wins
Baltimore
2
lost a home
playoff
game all
games,
year?
probably.
and they beat the shit out of us there, and we're a good team. Like, god
Right.
damn.
They probably lost one game at home.
I think the Rams almost beat them at home.
The Rams did almost beat them, but they
I think
did
that's
not.
the only game.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Marshall lone wolf the Texans last week. Does he do it again?
Hey, if he does, he's got to go buy a lottery ticket or something.
Man.
This is gonna be a wild game, I think. Regardless, this
I
is
think
gonna
so
be a
too. I
good
think it's going
game.
to be
Mm.
sneaky
Wow.
good. I think a
But
lot of people are
Ravens-
expecting it to be a blowout, but I think the Texans hold their own for a little while.
Texans look good. But the Ravens are really damn good. The Ravens also set their starters in Week 18 and did have a bye week.
Yeah,
I'm
they're going to
taking the
be they're going to
Texans.
be
I'm taking the Texans. I think the Texans sitting basically 2 weeks off, I think. And we have the last time we saw a dominant Ravens team, they got bounced by the Titans in round one, divisional round. That's the last time we really saw a dominant playoff run by the Ravens.
okay.
I feel like history's going to repeat itself. The Texans are a better team than that Titans team was. I think the Texans just did that to the Browns, one of the best defenses in football. The
And drop
Texans put up
45 on them.
45 points against one of the best defenses in football.
Well, one of those was a pick six. So
All right.
38
All
points.
right.
Sorry.
38.
38
They dropped
points.
38
2 pick
points.
sixes.
Sorry.
two pick sixes.
I think that momentum is just going to be unreal, and I think this is going to be an insane game. Will take the Texans.
Sorry, I'm trying to look up the weather in Baltimore because I feel like that's a big factor in this game. Yeah, Marshall really brings up a good point. Like the Ravens are a team where I feel like they shouldn't rest because like they're such a physical team where like if you take a week off, well, 2 weeks off in theory, like that's a long time to not be really playing your football when they need to. It's gonna be. Do they play? I don't know if they play Saturday or Sunday. I guess I should have looked at that first.
Saturday.
They play Saturday. Saturday is going to be 28, windy but sunny. So decent conditions, I guess you could say. Yeah, I think the Texans, they had a really good week and just kind of that defense looked great, which we don't think of them as a defensive team. Like it's usually their offense that pretty much is the only thing carrying. The Ravens with rest, that kind of worries me more than it like makes me more confident. But the Ravens are so good at home. They did what they did to the Lions at home. That's fucking insane. Like I'd say we're noticeably better than the Texans, and for them to do that to us, I just think what Dallas's home field advantage is what the Ravens is, just except better because it's outside and they like to run the ball. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens. I think Texans had a magical year, but it's gonna come up a game short. I think they're gonna make a defensive play that the Texans don't, and that's gonna be the game.
Yeah. All right. Packers at Niners. Selfishly, I want the Packers to win this game so that Detroit can have one more playoff game at home. But I think I gotta go Niners here. But I
Yeah.
mean, maybe Packers make it a game for a while, but that Niners defense is just too good.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed by Jordan Love against the Cowboys, and it actually kind of scares me of how well he did for the future of
Right.
the NFC North. Unfortunately, hopefully he
A new Hall of Fame quarterback
literally
in
just the
Green
fact
Bay
that the
has
Packers
emerged.
went generational quarterback, potentially a generational quarterback scares me. But
All
I
it
think
took was a full regular season for him to finally start playing like it.
literally. But I'm gonna go 49ers. I can't see the Packers beating them offensively or defensively overall.
I love lone wolfing. I do love going with the teams by myself, but unfortunately, I am going with the 49ers. I'm with Colin. I want the Packers to win. So I pick 49ers, and if they win, I get the pick on here. But if the Packers win, it's big, huge for the Lions. But Packers look good, and I think they'll be able to make it a game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Packers can hold their own. But it's just I don't even think it's like home field. I don't even think it's a home field advantage thing. Like you went into Dallas and did that, so I don't think it's a home field advantage thing. I think it's just the 49ers have so many ways to wear you down that it's hard to keep up with them. Christian McCaffrey's going to have an amazing game. That offense and defense are both physical, so I don't think it's a crazy blowout like the Cowboys game. I think 49ers win by a touchdown or 10 points, somewhere around that range. But I do got 49ers.
Real quick, Donnie, before you make your pick, I just want to ask Marshall, what makes you more confident in the 49ers with 2 weeks of rest
I
versus
was
the
just about to
Ravens
bring
with
that
2
up.
weeks of rest?
Just about to
Because
bring that up.
we've seen the 49, we've seen the Ravens have 2
Because
weeks of rest.
we've seen this Ravens team beat this 49ers team.
We've seen this Ravens team beat this 49ers team, but we've also seen the Ravens team have 2 weeks of rest and then lose it. And also, I am all aboard on Kyle Shanahan has his offense down to a science. It is not even to the point where you can have plug-in players to the point where you don't need a Lamar Jackson. Like you have a Brock Purdy, a guy that it's just you throw him in there and he's going to perform on this team. Christian McCaffrey, you put him in anywhere and he's going to perform. It is I think this is a way different team and way just bigger. But it's also not me thinking, and I'm not saying the Ravens are going to come out and play bad. I'm saying the Texans team, I'm not saying the Ravens are going to play bad. I'm saying the Texans team is on a high right now, that they're just not going to be stopped. I just don't think I think the Packers are on a high. I just don't think they're not as good of a team on a high as the Texans. So I think both those teams are on such good highs. I think the Texans is just a little bit better. So that is a really good question, but I just think the 49ers are a little bit more they just that Packers defense is not going to be able to hang with what the 49ers have because realistically Ravens you can shut down the pass. You really can. And with that you can shut down the pass, but with the Niners, you shut down the pass, they're going to run the ball down your throats. And you shut down the run, they're going to pass down your throats. So it's really hard to shut them down. So I got Niners, but good question, though.
All right, Kian Lamar for 300 passing yards.
Seriously, though.
I was going to say something similar. I was going to say I'd be remiss if I immediately backtracked on my rest talk with saying the Niners are fine, but the Ravens could be in trouble. But yeah, I also will agree that I don't even think it's a style of play. Like the style of play is different because I feel like the Niners can beat you every way, and the Ravens really they're bet like 90% of the games they win, it's when they establish the run. Like they can pass and win, but it's a lot less frequent. Um, but yeah, like I think we've seen this Ravens team do that in what was it 2020 or 2019 with the Titans. Like that's a pretty similar team and they did it. So like I think that is a good uh distinction in that. But I want to give credit to the Packers for being the first 7 seed to win a playoff game since we've done 7 seeds. But like I don't believe in the Packers. I don't think they're good. I don't think Jordan Love's good. I think he's hot. I think he's like playing really well. I'll say that. But like I knew that was coming. I knew like or not that I knew. I think that he's having a good stretch and like I want to give him credit for that cuz like it's hard to come in for Aaron Rodgers. And I love the storyline of this game of like can Jordan Love do what Aaron Rodgers never could and beat the fucking 49ers in
that'd be
in a game that
hilarious.
means something.
Hmm.
So like that's kind of funny, and like I'd kind of like to see that just because fucking Aaron Rodgers. But I don't think this Packers team's good. I think them beating the Lions was a fluke. I think them making the playoffs was a fluke. I think them beating the Cowboys was a fluke. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's like they've proven me wrong so many times that I should start believing, but I don't. I don't like that team. I don't trust that team. I don't like their coach. I don't like the quarterback. I don't like any of it. And I think the Niners with rest, with Chris McCaffrey healthy, I think they are going. It's going to be like when they played the Packers a few years ago and they had 200 yards before contact. I think they're going to blow them the fuck out. And I feel like we're going to have to go to San Fran, but I don't want to root for the Packers in an easy game because I just rooted for the Bucks in an easy game. So I feel like our easy games this week, and we're going to have to beat one good team to go to the Super Bowl if we're going to want to go to the Super Bowl, and that's San Fran and San Fran. So give me the Niners. I think they win big.
All right. Big one here. Buccaneers at Lions. Uh, Lions are going to get it done. Give me the Lions. One pride. NFC champs. Here we come.
Yeah, Lions are covering the spread. Bet money.
Touchdown spread.
Like I said, I am very optimistic. I still think this is a win-lose game. We can easily lose and we can easily win.
Don't get me wrong. I think the same thing, but I think the Lions will get it done.
Oh yeah, I'm on the same page. I think we can easily lose. We can easily win. It's a toss-up. It's any given Sunday, but I do think the Lions will win. I think we also are on a roll right now, and I think this Bucks team is going to put up a hard fight. They have a great offense, and I think Baker probably will throw for 300 yards on us. But I think we just got to come out firing, and we got to establish the run, and we just got to do what we got to do, and
What we did the first time.
just have grit and be a good gritty team and just go out there and wear them down. So, but yeah, I got the Lions, no question.
Yeah, I have so much confidence in us that as soon as Colin made his pick, I just wrote down all for Lions because I know.
I hate to interrupt you, Donnie, but I'm seeing on the TV right now. This is the second playoff meeting between the Lions and the Buccaneers. 1997, and the Buccaneers won in the wild card round. So this is our second playoff meeting, and the Bucks
Yeah,
won last time. So.
but this is the real question: was it a crescent mooner? What was it?
Okay,
Like,
yep.
it was
I'll see you guys later. You already know Colin's on there after the podcast. Was it a Christian?
But
He's checking that right now.
No, honestly, I was rooting for the Bucks. I'm an Eagles guy in that I think if the Eagles would have won and I think if the Eagles win and they pull it out, I'm like, okay, I'm nervous for this game. I'm not gonna lie. Because I think the Eagles hot. I think they're really good. But the Bucks team, we went to Tampa. We beat them very, very handedly, given it was week 6. So you're talking about 2-ish months ago. And I understand that's a big, or shit, not 2-ish months ago. Fucking, what is that? Like 3 months ago? Anyway, long time ago. So I get it's a completely different ball game. But to go into Tampa and beat them and make Baker look how Baker looked, given he's hot right now and he deserves comeback player of the year, I think he's played incredible. He went from almost out of the league to playing like a top 10 quarterback. So he deserves all the respect in the world, especially when the Bucks were like going to win like 2 games this year, like everybody thought. So he deserves his flowers. But in Detroit, with that crowd, I think we just beat a team that's much better than the Rams and handled much better quarterback play in Matthew Stafford. I think I'm starting to drink, I don't know, the phrasing, drinking the Kool-Aid, believing, whatever you want to say. I think the Lions are going to the NFC Championship, boys, and we're going to be 1 game away from the Super Bowl.
I don't want to put this out in the world, but if the Lions do end up losing this game and the Bucks go to the NFC Championship, this man Donnie will become the biggest Baker Mayfield fan ever because he ain't rooting for the Niners and he ain't rooting for the Packers. This man will have a Baker Mayfield jersey on within an instant.
My only defense to that would be if we lose to a team in the playoffs, I do hope that team wins the Super Bowl just because it's like we get to be like, well, we lost, but we lost to the eventual champion.
Yeah.
So at least
and
there's
Baker,
that. You know what I mean?
you're not rooting for Brock Purdy, and you ain't rooting for Jordan Love, and you've always you've always been like
I like Baker.
You know what? I respect Baker Mayfield. I like Baker Mayfield, and the story would be pretty incredible. So we already know this man Donnie would have his Baker Mayfield shit on immediately.
Yeah. I did tell Marshall and them. I know we're removed from it now, but I did say if the Rams beat the Lions, I'm like, I know that the Niners are hot and everybody. I was like, the Rams would have been my pick to win the Super Bowl if they would have got past the Lions. I think they were just riding high. So like, yeah, I will stand by like when I lose to the team in the playoffs, I want that team to go win the Super Bowl just because it makes us look a little bit better. So, but yeah, give me Lions.
All right. I do have something to say about the moon after we're done with the picks and Marshall's gone.
That'll be when I'm
I got some bad news for us, but it's not looking good.
Is it a wax and gibbous? Is it a wax and gibbous? That's all we need to know.
What's the pick?
Can I change my pick?
I'm changing my pick.
Chiefs at Bills. I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going Bills. I'm confident too.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, just like Dallas. Home field advantage. They were rolling. I know it was the Steelers, but they were rolling, and they didn't have T.J. Watt, so it scares me a little bit more. But just the way they're rolling, I think they got the momentum. And going into Buffalo, after seeing that TikTok that Dallas showed us, these motherfuckers are jumping through the tables that are on fire. So I don't know.
Well, they do that
Bills
for
Mafia is
preseason
fucking
game.
crazy.
They do that shit for preseason games. So
Yeah,
like that's different.
I don't know. It's just something about them. So I see the Bills winning. Chiefs have been sort of off, even though they won in the playoffs, but to a Dolphins team, to Tua, who has never won under 45 degrees. So I got Bills Mafia going to the AFC Championship game.
I love that this is the only game we're divided on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a solid game. I could see this being the best game on the card. Um, I feel like this is a good spot for the Bills. Like they kind of get to right that 13 seconds Patrick Mahomes drive. They get to right that wrong at home, which they haven't got to do. Means they have to keep going to Arrowhead. I think Mahomes playing on his first road playoff game, I think that's going to be weird just because we've literally never seen it in his 5 years or whatever in the league. So it's so interesting, but and I don't know if the Chiefs are the Chiefs again or if it was just the Dolphins looking like dog shit. Like I said, I think this is my low key Super Bowl pick. I think the Chiefs are back. I think I think it's one of those things where it was like Brady versus uh, Manning for a bit, where it was like, okay, Manning's never going to beat Mahomes, and I think it will be like that for a little bit. I think Josh will eventually win a big game against Mahomes, but I don't think it's going to happen yet. I think it's
Dallas, you heard it too, right?
Yeah, I wasn't
Man,
gonna say
he's gonna
nothing. Then
beat-
I saw your
Manning's never
face.
gonna beat Mahomes. You're goddamn right. He's not.
Wait, what I say?
You said Manning's never gonna beat Mahomes.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
I wasn't gonna say anything. Then I
Peyton
looked at
Manning's
Colin's
gonna hear
face.
that.
I meant,
Peyton Manning's gonna hear that. He's coming out of retirement just to beat
yeah.
Mahomes.
When the
Very
teacher's
true.
yelling at your class
Like,
and you look at your
some shit
friend.
about-
Bro's coming back
That's
to
my
the
bad.
Colts to
I meant
take them to the
Allen,
Super Bowl
obviously.
and beat Kansas City.
I meant Allen, obviously. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game. I could see the Bills winning just because they're at home, and if they're ever gonna beat the Chiefs, I feel like at home is kind of a good point. Just like when Manning eventually beat Brady, it was in Indy because they're in a dome. But yeah, I'm gonna go Chiefs. Like I said, I think they could win the AFC. I think they could beat the Ravens. They're just if they put it together, they can do it. And Rashid Rice looked really good. Travis Kelsey looked really good. Pacheco ran well. They're one of those teams where it's like they've looked shitty in the regular season, but they could put it together in the playoffs and make a go because they're the fucking Chiefs and it's Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, give me the Chiefs.
Fuck
What's
you.
the moon? What's the moon supposed to be for our
All
game?
right, so the moon phase on December 28th, 1997, when the Lions last played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs, was a waning crescent. All right, that's fine because our enemy is the waxing gibbous.
Okay.
I want you to know
It is a waning
it
crescent.
is supposed to be a waxing gibbous moon on Sunday night.
Mm.
Wait, we're playing it Sunday at 3.
The moon still is out. What the
It's
we
still
played
there.
at fucking noon on Thanksgiving.
Nah, you can't. It's just you can't.
We played
see
at noon on Thanksgiving. What are you
I
talking
just wanted to know
about?
that. I just wanted to know that. You guys can talk about that. Enjoy your trivia time. I'll see you guys on Monday. Colin, I'll text you some videos and I'll talk to you about the game and stuff. I'll see y'all later.
All right, see you.
All right. Trivia time here on the Fourth and Wrong podcast. We were talking a little about Patrick Mahomes earlier. This is some Patrick Mahomes playoff trivia in a way. Patrick Mahomes, with his win against the Dolphins, entered the top 10 for most playoff wins by a quarterback in NFL history. Bro's played 6 seasons. Bro's played 6 seasons and is already top 10 in playoff wins for a quarterback. So we're going to be going over the top 10 quarterbacks with the most wins in the playoffs, excluding Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, he's in there with 12. There's 11 other people either tied or above him. You guys are going to be guessing those 11 people.
Tom Brady.
Colin, I will let you go first.
Tom Brady with 35 playoff wins
That's fucking
Is
nuts.
not on the list.
is number one. Number one by a far margin.
Okay. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see him being on there. Let me go with from one goat to another. Let me go with Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco is not on the list.
Okay, so Flacco has 11. So now we know the benchmark.
Real quick, let me do some math for you guys. I think Joe Flacco only has 10, by the way.
I'm pretty sure he's 11-5. I think he's 11-5 in the playoffs. And Mahomes was 13-3 because I saw a graphic on it.
Joe Flacco's 10-6.
Tennessee. Okay. That was
Would have
close.
been 11-5 if he had won.
I'm gonna throw a couple names out just to
Yeah, that
let
was
you
before he
guys
played,
know. I'm gonna throw a couple names out. Dan Marino not on this list.
Yeah,
That doesn't surprise me.
Kurt Warner not on this list.
that
That doesn't.
does kind of
That
surprise me.
that was
He had
surprising,
like
being
2 years.
but he's been to 3 Super Bowls.
Right.
That was my thing.
Yeah, but they were always like the 1 seed. They always got the bye. So
True. That's
Drew
still
Brees.
8 wins right there.
Drew Brees not on the list.
Yeah, that one's not as surprising.
I won't spoil any more, but go ahead and continue to guess, boys. Joe Flacco not on the list, by the way.
Well, Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, he is tied for third with 14 wins.
am I fucking stupid? Why did I go from Tom Brady to Joe Flacco and fucking think that was a good play?
Well, you said, well, let me go from one goat to another. And I was like, oh, there goes my guess. And then you
Yeah.
said Joe Flacco. And I was like, okay.
I'm gonna act like I was trying to find the benchmark because now we know 10 is not getting you on the list. So
Yeah.
It is not.
you're welcome. But you said Peyton was tied for third.
Third.
Or
With how many?
14.
that bro, we got a narrow threshold. We got
That
a very
feels so
narrow
low.
threshold. That is a narrow. Well,
I'm-
it's because Tom has 35. That's why it warps our fucking
What
minds.
about
The next-
Well, it's your turn.
number
Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say number 2 is gonna have like 15, and we're gonna be like, holy fucking shit. Let me go with Joe Montana. He's got to be up there.
Joe Montana is number 2 with 16 playoff wins.
See, more than double the next guy.
Tom Brady, number 1 with
This is the
35.
GOAT?
Second place with 16. That's insane.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco has as many playoff wins as Tom Brady does road playoff wins. That's fucking crazy.
Honestly, it's kind of surprising that he even played that many road playoff games.
I mean, yeah, they're
How
probably
good
counting
some of those
Super Bowls
Patriots
is the
teams were.
problem. They're probably
Mhm.
counting Super Bowls as road playoff games.
That shouldn't. That's a
They
neutral site.
might.
Yeah.
They might, man.
It depends on if they were the away team or not.
Oh boy. I had a name, but I can't remember who I had. I got distracted by our conversation. God,
We
who
got
was it?
Montana, Manning, and
Oh.
Brady and Flacco so far.
Flacco's not on the list.
No, I'm saying that was for guesses.
I want to say Big Ben just because he played for so long and went to 2 Super Bowls. But I feel like if Flacco's not on the list, I don't know if Big Ben is.
I'll tell you, Colin, Big Ben is on the list with
Wow.
13 playoff wins. Tied for
did not think
4th.
that. That was a good pull. I did not think Big Ben.
I know I was on the fence once I knew Joe Flacco wasn't. I was like, that's dicey.
Okay, so it kind of throws into like.
So we just got one more, right?
No.
no.
We're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, we were
half
doing
the
top
list.
10.
Top 10, top 10.
God damn.
I thought we were only doing 5.
Okay. This one feels kind of risky.
How many of these fuckers are tied?
Literally everyone except for Tom Brady and Joe Montana.
Wow.
Wild.
Is tied with somebody else. That's crazy.
Yep.
I got a risky one, but I'm gonna save it. Let me go with Russell Wilson. I feel like that one.
Ooh.
Not on the list.
Wow.
He has 9 playoff wins.
Okay. I guess they only really did have those 2 runs. A lot of quarterbacks left on the board count.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to like
This man's like,
I'm
fuck,
trying to
there's like 2
eliminate
left.
people who I know don't have, the benchmark. I don't think he's on there, but I'm gonna say Brett Favre.
Brett Favre on the list with 13 playoff wins.
Wow.
That was my
So
risky
he's
one that I
like
did.
solidly on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He was good.
I thought if he was on there, he was
going
gonna sneak in.
Which, if you think about it, though, Mahomes, one more playoff win, he's right there with them.
Yeah.
That was my risky one. I didn't think you'd think of Favre. I should have ripped that one. I'm gonna go with another guy who played for fucking forever and had a couple runs. Let's go with John Elway.
John Elway up there with 14 wins. 14 playoff wins for John Elway.
I got a crazy pull.
Oh.
Billy Cannon.
Okay.
Okay, after that abysmal guess.
Yeah, no, you can go.
Let
I
me
need a second to
go.
think of a real guess.
I'll be shocked if this dude's not on there. Let me go with Jim Kelly for the Bills.
Not on the list.
Made 4 fucking Super Bowls. How is he not on the list?
Not on the list.
Damn, that's honestly shocking.
I mean, it was probably like you said, first round buys.
Yeah, but I figured that's 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 8, even if you got to buy every year. And that's only if he only made the playoffs during those 4 years. They must have sucked when they didn't make the Super Bowl. God damn.
So just so you know, Jim Kelly is 9-8 in the playoffs.
Oh my god.
9-8.
He made the playoffs almost like every fucking year, it sounds like.
From 88 to 96, he was in the playoffs.
That's not bad.
What about Terry Bradshaw?
Harry Bradshaw with 14 playoff wins. Colin is on a roll.
I gotta stop saving these guys because I wanted to say Terry Bradshaw too. God damn.
Yeah. I was like, I knew a couple of these motherfuckers were gonna be older.
Man, that's the last one I had in the tank too. Was Terry Bradshaw.
Snooze, you lose, bitch.
Shut up. This one feels risky. No Donovan McNabb. He had a long run with the Eagles.
Not on the list.
Fuck. I felt like that was a good guess too. We got to start getting into older guys. I feel like the older guys are where.
That's why I branched into fucking Terry Bradshaw.
Fair enough. God damn. Sorry, Colin. Motherfucker said, "Why do you think I said Terry Bradshaw?"
I wonder if I should give you guys this hint for one of the quarterbacks. I'll wait. I'll wait one more round.
Is this only Super Bowl era?
No. This is all-time playoffs.
Bart Starr.
Not on the list.
What?
Who'd you say?
He's a 5-time NFL champion and 2-time Super Bowl champion, and he's not on the list.
Not on the
was it?
list.
Bart
Starr.
This might sound stupid, but like the playoff format was probably different back then.
I mean,
They probably
true,
only had
but
like one playoff.
You might have only had to have won like one playoff game to make the fucking Super Bowl.
fair
You know
point.
what I mean?
Fair point.
I'm
Like
looking
I
it up.
don't know. It could. I'm assuming it was probably similar to what it is now, but like it could have been totally different. Who knows?
So-
The NFL was back in the day.
So Bart Starr, he's 9-1 in the playoffs. So
Just missed.
he only had to play one game in 61, one game in 62, 2 games in 65, 2 games in 66, and then 3 in 67. So
Wow.
he was progressively playing more and more playoff games as the league was
They were
improving.
changing it as he was playing.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Damn, I thought
Honestly,
that was
I could
good.
see-
I thought that was a hell
I
of
could
a
see them
poll.
not even having like playoffs back then. You imagine if it was just like Super Bowl when they had
Like how the national championship in college football
literally,
used to be whoever
we
just
just
finished
picked.
first in the
Yeah.
AP poll.
it's like man, there's 10 teams in the league. We could determine who the 2
or
best
even
are.
back even farther before the AP poll existed, and you could just declare yourself national champion, and everyone was like, "All right."
Yep, you got it, dog.
That's why Michigan has so many national
You
championships.
said it first.
No, it's just because we're better. I don't know if you see that. It's because we're better.
This is your first real national championship. I'll give you that.
Yeah, when was
I mean, there's
Michigan
only
State's last?
I mean, really, there's only been like
Our first,
10 legit national.
oh God, what's the word I'm looking for?
1966, I think, was what it was, wasn't it?
It was definitely in the 60s, but it's God, what's the word I'm looking for?
Co-champ.
No, opposite of co-champ. like Seoul
Single champ?
championship.
Oh,
Because Michigan has a bunch of shared titles, but they hadn't won a outright. That's what I was trying to think of.
outright.
Yeah.
Okay.
They hadn't won an outright title since like I think like the 50s before this year.
Hmm.
So every other national
Well,
title
they'll have
they had won since then was shared. Like the one in
Well, they'll
'97 was
have it
shared
for a
with
few months
Nebraska.
before it gets fucking vacated. So at least I got that.
It's okay.
It's not getting vacated. I'm so
You
sorry to
can't
break it to you.
can't take it away from us.
It's not getting vacated. As much as I want it to be, it's not.
All right, we got trivia. Okay.
Oh yeah, how many do we have left?
We have
Probably
1,
four.
2, 3, 4 quarterbacks left. And I'll give you guys a hint for one of these quarterbacks
All right.
once Donnie makes his guess.
I got
Watch him
another
get
older
the
guy,
one that
but
you're gonna
now
give a hint for.
Yeah, literally.
I got an older guy, but like you guessing Bart Starr has kind of scared me away from that. But I mean, man, when you're a motherfucker who wins so many championships, it's hard. Like, give me Jim Otto for the Browns back in the fucking 50s and 60s.
Nope.
Man played in like 11 championships. You're telling me he didn't win a fucking at least one playoff game every year? What are we fucking doing?
He did not. Let's see. Let me check it out.
Bro, literally, I think he went to 10. I think he won 10 rings or 9 rings, something like that.
You mean Otto Graham?
Yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say, Jim Otto?
Yeah, who I
meant
looked up
Otto
Jim
Graham.
Otto. I'm like, this man has one championship. What is this man talking
Yeah.
about?
Not Otto Graham.
I was not. It's not Otto Graham, unfortunately. Let's see. Playoffs. 9-3 in the playoffs.
All these guys have 9 wins.
All right, so we're
Here,
thinking too old.
here's the hint. One of these players is currently active. One of these quarterbacks is an active quarterback.
This is wins as a starter, not some bullshit like he's been riding the bench his whole career.
Nope, playoff wins as a starter. Yep.
Okay. I was about to say, because if it's fucking like Brian Hoyer because he rode the bench in New England for fucking 8 years.
Jimmy G, actually.
That's insane. What the fuck?
Jimmy G might have this, might pass Joe Montana.
Currently active?
Yeah.
Currently active, but can't be a starter.
It's not Rodgers, is it?
It's Aaron Rodgers with
Damn.
12. 12.
It's because he keeps getting to the NFC Championship game but not finishing the job.
12.
Well, I was gonna say they kept fucking losing in the playoffs. I was like, "There's no way he's on there."
Yeah,
He'd win 2 games and then get booted since 2008. Except for that one year he won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That is wild. I definitely did not.
We got 3 more quarterbacks. I will say older, but like one of them's super old. 2 of them are like 80s, 90s.
I don't know. There's another guy. Oh my fucking god. Give me my fucking the most overrated quarterback of all time and Troy Aikman.
Wrong Cowboys quarterback there, Donnie.
Well, fucking
Troy Aikman's not on there.
Put that sumbitch right on the fucking T for comp.
Troy Aikman has 11, by the way. So
Oh, fuck him. And he's only one off. I hate Troy Aikman so much. Fuck Troy Aikman. God damn it. Colin. I don't know
I'm
if you know
thinking.
this, but I put one on a T for you. It means he said wrong Cowboys quarterback.
And it's not Tony Romo. I can tell you
Give me a minute.
that. I
Who
knew the
could've
first thing
guessed
he would have
Tony
thought it
Romo?
was. He would have
Bro,
thought Tony Romo.
Exactly. I wanted him to fuck up.
I actually like literally the only other like older Cowboys quarterback I know is Troy Aikman, so I do not know. I'm sure
Oh,
once I know this guy's name, I will know him, but like
You-
off the top of my head, I cannot think of him.
You 10,000% know him. I promise.
I'm sorry, I'm looking into somebody else. You can go. You can go. Redeem yourself. I'm trying to figure out if this guy is.
Roger Starbuck.
Roger Staubach with 13 playoff wins.
Yeah, see, I did not know that motherfucker's name.
Didn't know him?
No.
He's the reason the Cowboys became America's team. Like he was good.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Better fucking Troy Aikman, fucking bitch ass.
We got 2 quarterbacks left. One of them, he's the top 10 quarterback of all time. The other one, you'll probably never get.
Vinny Testaverde.
No.
Bro played for like 30 years, so that was a halfway decent guess. Colin, do you have another guess?
Nope.
This one is wild, but maybe. Well, actually, I guess I have 2. Give me Kenny Stabler.
Nope.
Okay, that one was my out there. Or not my out there, but my.
I still don't have another guess, so you can go right
I was
ahead.
gonna say, I'm really hoping I'm getting the name right. Old Raiders quarterback, is it George Blanda?
Nope.
Okay, he was the original Tom Brady. Bro played until he literally played until he was like 47.
I'll tell you, the one guy you guys know for sure, you know him for sure. Like when you think top 10 quarterbacks, he's in that list. And if he's not, I don't know what's wrong with your guys' top 10 all-time
Oh my
quarterback
God,
list.
Matthew Stafford.
I didn't say top 50, Donnie. I said top 10.
What for sure top 10 quarterback are we missing? I mean, we haven't
Man.
said a lot of quarterbacks, but like for good reason.
Maybe I just have to start listing off this man's accolades.
Yeah.
No, don't go that far.
He's a 2-time MVP.
There's only been a handful of motherfuckers to do that.
3-time Super Bowl champion with 1 Super Bowl MVP. He also won an Offensive Player of the Year award. 3-time All-Pro, 3-time second team All-Pro. 7-time Pro Bowler. Led the league in passing 4 years. Led the league in passer rating for 6 years. Completion percentage for 5. And he is a Hall of Famer.
What about you, Colin? That didn't help me at all.
That didn't help at all. I was like, every
If
motherfucker,
you
you're
gave
like,
us an era, if you gave us an era instead of all that, that helps. That could happen in the fucking 50s. It could have happened 10 minutes ago. I have no idea.
right.
He played from 1984 to 1999.
84 draft, fucking son of a bitch. No, 83 draft was a really good one. It was not 80.
I wouldn't focus too much on the draft, being he was drafted by a USFL team.
Steve Young.
Steve Young.
It's crazy because I was gonna guess that, but like he
Damn.
wasn't a starter for long enough. I didn't think.
14 playoff wins.
genuinely, how the fuck did he get 14 playoff? How did he play in 14 playoff games as a starter?
14 playoff wins. Man's a dog.
That is crazy. I think bro literally started in San Fran for like 4 years. Like by the time that man started, he was like 32 years old.
He played in San Fran from 87 to 99. So
I mean, yeah, I guess he played for a while.
now this last quarterback.
We still have one more. I thought that was the last.
This is
one.
the
Guy we have
last.
no idea, he said.
This is the guy you guys will not get, in my opinion. But this guy's a legend. I'll tell you that much.
Oh fuck.
Legend because he did something good, or because of like
I mean, I would
off
say
the
this
field stuff. Like,
I would
what
I
kind of
would say
legend are we
this.
talking about here?
Well, let me break down the
obviously he's won a
accolades.
ton of playoff games, but
I'll break down the accolades. 3-time Super Bowl champion. 1-time NFL champion.
oh, so it's an old
Fuck.
motherfucker.
1-time MVP. He also won Comeback Player of the Year in 1972. He is a 2-time first team All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, led the league in passer rating 1 year and passing touchdowns in 1 year, and was the starting quarterback for the undefeated Miami Dolphins. Perfect season. Also, a Michigan State alumni.
Bob Greasy.
Nope.
What's the other one?
Michigan State alumni, Colin. From Muskegon, Michigan. Went to Michigan State.
One of the greatest Michigan athletes of all time.
Drafted first
what
round.
Year did you say he won the comeback player of the year?
We're looking it up. We're looking it up, bitch. Get off your laptop.
1972.
72.
Miami Dolphins.
Bro's got his LeBron shit going on. He was like,
he's got his Marshall shit going on.
Yeah,
I got my Marshall shit going on. I'm not gonna say it, but I know who it is now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who the fuck this guy is.
I remember, so this is not helping at all, but I remember like reading about the 72 Dolphins, and they had 2 good quarterbacks. Like they started both of them. One was Bob Greasy, and the other one was apparently this fucking guy. And I remember like they like played both of them, kind of thing. Or like it was like a controversy, you know what I mean? Like which one should they play?
Oh shit!
Did you look it up?
Yeah, I told you I looked it up.
Oh my god! Don't put me on an island like this.
Oh, he played for the Lions.
He played for the Lions for a little bit. Yep.
God damn it.
From 1958 to 1964.
Yep.
I just want to see if you can get this at this point.
There's no shot.
No shot.
Still, like, you know the name. Like, is it somebody where you were like, oh, okay.
No. I mean, he definitely
that's
he definitely sounds like a guy that played in the 50s. I'll say
to be
that.
fair, I don't know why I asked you that, because you didn't know who Roger Staubach was. So I guess that is so I guess I don't know why I asked you. The Dolphins. Fuck. You gave me literally as many hits as you possibly could without saying his fucking name. I do feel like this is gonna be a name where I'm like, fuck, I've heard that name before.
He won our first Rose Bowl at Michigan State. I feel like I should know this guy.
I feel like you would
have
have
played baseball at Michigan State.
I felt like
State fan. You guys haven't had that much success. You should know this man.
Well, that's why I'm like, he won our first Rose Bowl.
You've probably seen his statue up somewhere.
You don't have a statue.
Bro, walk past it every day going to class and just had no idea.
I mean, this is a guy you would have a statue of, honestly, though. Three-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time NFL champion, MVP, the leader of the perfect season, the only perfect season.
He didn't do any of that shit at Michigan State. He was the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. Like that would be a person you could get behind having a statue of.
He led them to a 9-1 record in 1955.
It's like fucking Tom Brady was probably going to get a fucking statue at Michigan. Bro didn't do much for Michigan, but he's the greatest quarterback of all time.
Nah, I don't
Who
think he
went to
should get a
Michigan.
statue at Michigan. He'll get a statue at fucking Gillette Stadium,
Everywhere
but
else. Everywhere else.
that statue should be Blake Corum.
honestly, yeah.
Unironically, Blake Corum would get a Michigan statue before.
And Denard Robinson. Throw Denard Robinson in there.
What are we doing? The man that had negative 78 rushing yards against Michigan State in 2013.
Bro's
you want to
been
give him a statue?
Bro's been the cover of NCAA for 10 years. For 10 years. Name me somebody else who's been on the cover for over 10 years.
Nobody else has ever done that.
You know what the one loss was in that 9-1 season in 1955? You know who that one loss was to? Michigan.
Yeah, it was. Yes,
14-7.
Get shit on, Colin.
Get shit on.
Number 2 Michigan.
I don't give a fuck, but get shit on.
And then they went on to beat number 4 UCLA in the fucking Rose Bowl.
All right, Donnie, you give up? You give up?
Yep. If it's not Bob Greasy, I don't fucking know.
It is Earl Morrell.
Yeah.
I knew that name. I feel like Marshall honestly might have got that.
Yeah, because you would have looked it up like 10 minutes ago.
They finished number 2 in the country that year.
No, but I do know. Come on, Colin, shut the fuck up about Michigan State. God.
I'm sorry. I've quickly become a fan of.
I just gave this man a new Billy Cannon.
Yeah.
I knew
every trivia.
Earl Morrell.
I knew that Earl Morrell existed. I did not remember that he played for the Dolphins. Like I said, I remember Bob Greasy because Bob Greasy is also famous because he wore literally like fucking Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys. He literally wore like the thickest glasses you've ever seen, and he would wear them underneath his helmet because he was like fucking blind.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was
a good trivia.
So if Mahomes wins this week against the Bills, he's gonna move up in this rankings, man. Same as Brett Favre, Big Ben, Terry Bradshaw.
This is all I'm gonna say. Just wait until Joe Flacco comes back next year, and he's gonna fucking beat Tom Brady's record. He's gonna play till he's 55, and he's gonna break the playoff record.
I'm not even convinced Joe Flacco is gonna play next year.
No shot.
This is the thing. I feel like he's gonna play one more year because
they're gonna resign.
Somebody's gonna give him a small bag,
and he's gonna be a backup.
I feel like he's gonna get a small bag. It's gonna be like I don't know what team would do it. I feel like it'd be like the fucking Commanders or some bullshit.
Better than Sam Howell.
No, I genuinely feel like a team like that, they're gonna give him like 2 years, 50 mil. Like he's gonna get a small bag to come play. Mm-hmm. And then I think he plays 1 year, starts like 6 games, plays like shit, and retires. I think is exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Fourth and Wrong podcast. Thank you so much for watching. I promise I will actually put this episode out this week.
You're actually going to stitch the 2 episodes together. You're gonna fucking...
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Part 1 and part 2.
Fuck yeah. 2 totally different topics.
Fucking part 1, part 2. Infinity War and then Endgame.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. Go Lions. Fuck the Buccaneers.